Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro.
Everybody, it's Pete from the RTO Show. I wanted to talk to you guys today about what's going on in the RTO space from the first video podcast featuring Adam Ball from Esquire Marketing. And the reason we wanted to talk to him today is he's got some breakthrough things going on in the industry. And man, let me tell you, when we talked a little bit before, you got me excited. But here's the thing. I don't think a lot of people know what's going on with Esquire because you guys are new to the business space, right? You guys are new to rent-to-own.
Yeah, very new. So the first show that we went to was the Missouri Rental Dealer Show. I guess that was about 7 months ago. So super new. It's really become a passion of mine. I've put a lot of time and effort into learning the space, learning what's important, learning what KPIs and metrics, are important to business owners and to the stores themselves. And, I've learned a ton. So I'm super pumped to be here and talk with you. Talk a little bit about what I've learned and how we've been able to help the stores and companies that we're working with already. Cannot wait to grow in the space and become, you'll see me around at every show this year. I will be there. I'll be spending a lot of time. So super excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Let's jump into it.
Remember that face, because after today, you're going to want to know what Adam has to offer you. Now, real quick, I want to get into it. How did you guys find RTO? Because Esquire was doing something completely different, and then you entered this, and now I'm like, I could see how it worked for everybody else. When you mentioned it to me, I was like, well, I guess I never really thought about that. How did you guys find rent-to-own?
Kind of funny. So we've always been really big in the furniture and mattress industry. Obviously, RTO is, does a lot of furniture and mattress. Our vice president of sales, Nick Cruz, he worked with Ashley for several years. His parents worked for Ashley, so he grew up in that space, and he had gotten to know Dennis Shields really, really well. Obviously, everybody here knows who Dennis is, and we were able to get into the MRDA show, which was super fun, ended up winning the golf tournament. Didn't get to fish, but hopefully next year we'll get to do that too. But so we went to that show, and we kind of realized that, hey, our technology really fits in well with this space. Let's put a little bit more effort. So at that show, we picked up a couple really good clients. We saw some awesome results. And me personally, I'm also new to Esquire. I joined the company in January of last year. So I've been here just over a year. And I feel like I kind of found a place where I fit in, but also where the company fits in as well. So, it's been really fun to learn and figure all of this stuff out. So that's really how we broke in recently. We're probably one of the most recent members of Trib. So we just got into Trib. So I'll see all of y'all at Meeting of the Minds in March out in Albuquerque, which I'm super stoked about. We'll be playing golf. I will not be getting on a hot air balloon. I can promise you that. But all the other stuff, super happy to be there and continue to get involved.
So let's get into it. This is something that people want to know. This is what I want to know. What exactly is Esquire offering the RTO industry that's going to set them apart and kind of set you guys on fire this year as an introduction point into rent-to-own?
Yeah, so we have the ability to keep you from wasting thousands of dollars on marketing. So first and foremost, Esquire is a technology company. We spend every single day trying to figure out how to drive you traffic and give you more opportunities and make you more money. That is our job. Y'all's job is to run the business. We want to give you that traffic to sell new customers. So what we do is we have some proprietary technology that's essentially a geofencing campaign, but it's on steroids. So we have the ability to, as opposed to have a quarter mile variance, basically a geofence, you've got a pin and then you have a big circle around it. We can get exact down to a single meter level. So any building or parking lot or whatever we frame is going to be exact. And then not only that, but we're not reversing out any IPs. So when your phone turns off, you lose service, whatever that is, you come back with a new IP address. So the best you can really do with an IP is really a neighborhood level. So again, you're trying to hit one person that you captured, but you're really having to hit 24 to 30 people to make sure that you hit that one. So the way that we do it is we actually capture the MAID, which stands for the mobile advertising ID. It's like the VIN number to your car. Every single device, whether it be your phone, laptop, tablet, TV, they all have their own MAID address. So when we capture that, we know that we're capturing your device. We know that we want to capture you. You walked into that space that we wanted to capture you, whether that's your competitor or a place where you know a lot of your customers hang out, whatever that is. We follow that device back to a household. We can look at dwell time. So you go back to a household, we see you stay there 2 or 3 nights. Boom, okay, you live there. We take over your entire ecosystem of internet connected devices and we serve you wherever you travel online. So everything we do is going to be what we call app agnostic. So I don't care if you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or if you're watching streaming TV, it doesn't matter. I can serve you wherever you travel because I'm buying up every impression for Pete as opposed to buying up a placement on Facebook. So I'm just going to serve Pete as much as I possibly can.
So this ID uniquely put to every customer that we have, that ID doesn't change like the IP address changes when, let's say, they do cut it off or they go into a different building or something like that. So we're talking about geofencing versus geoframing. And we talked about that a little bit. And this is a marketing strategy that puts a lot of other ones to shame. Now, when you're doing this and you have this direct feed to these customers all the time, you're saying that you can guarantee a lot more results than our traditional, let's geofence a certain area, let's get the people that are in that area. You're saying that there's a lot more payoff on this, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure most of the people listening to this have probably done a geofencing campaign. And you probably saw great results for a couple weeks and then everything started to taper out. And that's because you're doing some sort of imaginary return to fence, right? You captured the device and then the device was captured again driving past your store and they're giving some sort of attribution. Okay, hey, they drove past the store. Well, they obviously came in and purchased. So the coolest part about what we're able to do is the attribution standpoint, right? So because we're serving physical home addresses, at the end of every month, we ask the retailer, we ask you guys, and you provide us with the last 30 days of sales data. All we need is home address, zip code, and then whatever the rental agreement price was. The more data, the better, but those are really the only things that we need. And we can match the purchases, the new in-store agreements to the audience that we're serving. So we can give you a return on your investment down to the penny on what we were able to influence for your store. And so, again, the more data we have, the better. I have one retailer that, or one RTO customer that sent us 4 years of data. So with that 4 years of data, there's a lot of KPIs that I'm able to provide, whether that be, this is a new customer that's never entered into an agreement before. If you're able to separate it out from in-store online agreement, I can separate those out. How much were we able to influence for online? How much were we able to influence for in-store? And so our big goal here is to bring you as many new customers as possible, right? I think this industry is really interesting in that, I grew up in a different demographic, but I did not know that this was a possibility. And I think that people my age, I'm 29, I think people my age don't know that this is a possibility. So we have to get the message out there to the right people. And that's what we're able to do. I'm going to say, we're all about
you guys
not wasting money.
Exactly. You guys have the ability to stretch it out to tablets, to phones, to what they're watching, what they're doing. That's probably the biggest hit that we take here at Rent to Own is we're focusing. We have some EDDMs and we go out and knock on doors. But if I have something that in your pocket, it's giving you a constant buzz saying, hey, don't forget about these guys, that's a game changer, really. Because like you said, you really don't want to put in a lot of money and a lot of labor and a lot of effort into an area that's not going to give you an ROI. Now, talking in percentages, what is the return on investment? If I was to spend a certain amount, what can I expect in return as far as ROI on a percentage base?
Yeah, so we work in a lot of industries. I'm actually in Orlando right now, getting ready to fly to market tomorrow. After 90 days in every industry that we work in, our average return on investment is 10 to 1. So, you give us $1, we give you 10 in return. But what we're seeing in the RTO industry has been a lot more than that, which I think is just a testament to, how specific that we're able to get in terms of a demographic. So we have several different audiences that we run. So, for example, in the RTO industry, we have 3 really heavy hitting audiences. And so that's going to be a custom demographic. I've looked at a ton of data from a ton of different RTO companies, and overall, it seems to be your customer is 25 to 52 with a household income of under $48,000 to $52,000.
That's us,
right? So we can, in your market, find everybody who fits that demographic and then hit them. But one thing I want to make sure that I talk about is our traffic looks a lot different, right? So our main goal is to drive door swings and get dollars in the register, right? So if I was going to run an online campaign where I wanted somebody to come to the website, I'll serve you 1-2 times. You don't click on the ad, I'm going to throw you out and I'm going to throw somebody else into the audience. I'm going to serve you 1 to 3 times per day for an average of 45 days. And the reason why we do that is because we want to take over your entire mind share and drive you to make an action and actually walk into a store. I would way much rather your salesperson on the floor have an opportunity to make a sale than just send somebody to a products page on your website, right? So we're going to send people to your website. You're going to see more online agreements, but our main goal is to drive people into that store, give you the chance to upsell, give you the chance somebody's coming in for a couch. Well, let's do a whole living room set, right? I want to give you guys that option. And that's really where we've been able to make a difference, is driving that foot traffic and driving foot traffic that's never been into an RTO store before. And so that's where we've really been able to excel.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space, Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing. And let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too.
When you say a return of 10 to 1, that's huge. So as we're sitting here and you give me those kind of numbers, I just want you to know, when you say 10 to 1 to some people, they're going to be knocking at your door looking for 10 to 1. So how does it work? Let's say I call you up, we get you on, we've got to get you some information. So from let's say from call concept, I give you a call, to let's do this, and get it going. It's a live situation. It's a live marketing. How long can that transaction be? Is it a quick turnover time?
Yeah.
Or how long does it take?
It's not as quick as I would like it to be, but it's getting quicker. We could probably get you turned around in about 30 days. So the way that it goes, we start talking. We always sign a mutual non-disclosure agreement with everybody that we work with. And that's what allows us, one, to be as targeted as we are, but also it assures our customers that we're not doing anything else with their data besides optimizing the campaign. So once we get that data, this is where we're going to look at all this. We're going to look at, we're going to build out a demographic profile for you. We're going to look at who your customers are. And this is where we start building out our audiences. So we have two huge heavy hitting audiences in the RTO industry, and that's our friends and family audience, and that's our neighbors audience. So I'll go into those for just a second. So friends and family is really just like turning your customers into influencers for you. So the second your customer, they come in, they enter into agreement for this whole new living room set, this new 65-inch TV, and they have people over to watch a football game. Well, we're going to have that house framed, and we're going to capture every device that walks into that house for the next 60 to 90 days. Well, what happens when somebody walks into that house? Oh, what is all this new stuff? Where did you get this? How was your experience? What are you paying? And in this industry, in this demographic, people talk, and they talk a lot. And this has been the biggest return audience that we serve. I mean, there have been months where we've seen over 1,000 to 1 ROI on this audience alone, which is insane. And so, obviously some of those people that we're capturing may have already been your customer before, but again, we're also tracking how much new business we're bringing as well. So I'm going to give you an ROI on an overall ROI, but I'm also going to give you an ROI on new business. So if we're able to give you a 10, 18, 20 to 1 return on investment just on new customers alone, that's huge, right? That's huge. It changes the game.
Because no matter what I put into it, I'm getting more back out of it than I'm putting into it. So the question is, how much do I really want to put into it? But I'm going to tell you, Adam,
exactly.
It sounds amazing. You're going to have a couple people that are going to say, it almost sounds too good to be true. And then the second thing is, it sounds a little bit like we're tracking them pretty well. Now, how in the legality of things, I know that Esquire wouldn't do it if it wasn't legal. But in doing this, how has the legality worked? I mean, there's nothing, the ramifications that are going to fall back on an RTO location saying that you're tracking me way too much, correct?
No, absolutely not. So one thing to note on that, Aaron Grindley, our founder and CEO, he's a former general counsel. So he very much so makes sure that we are one step ahead of anything. So we basically look at the strictest laws that there are in the country, and then we take it 5 steps ahead of that. That way, if something happens overnight, we're always going to be within compliance. But we are set up as a data processor and not a data broker, which is why we sign that mutual non-disclosure, right? So just want to make sure we do not sell your data. We use it for nothing else. We don't share it with anybody else. It goes between a classified transaction between the two parties, and that's it. And we use that information to build out your audiences and to optimize the campaign, and that's it. So we're not a data broker. We don't sell anything, and that's really what allows us to be as targeted as we are.
So you're getting into this now. We're going to see you in Albuquerque. We're going to see you everywhere that there is to see you. I do know that there are companies, right, that operate in the same space. I got competitors in Tampa. I know competitors in Texas. I know competitors in Oklahoma. So let's say I'm competitor number 1 and I go to you for this campaign. Now I'm competitor number 2 and I go to you for that campaign, but we're kind of in the same area. Let's just say the Tampa Bay area. How does a situation like that work with what you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a tough one, but the real answer to that question is we're never going to sell the same person twice, right? So I'm not going to try and send one person to you and also try and send the same person to the other company. We can't cannibalize the market. That doesn't look good on us because we're not going to see the same returns that we should see. So we're not going to do that. So we'll only sell the same person one time. Thankfully, at this point, that hasn't come up. So there have been internal conversations, but at this point, really feel free to know that we're not going to sell the same person twice. So I'm not going to try and send the same person to two different stores.
Okay, so let's say that you have two people in the market and you would it end up being in a situation where you're kind of like renting, or for lack of a better term, because we're doing rent to own, right? You're renting the area. I'm paying for so much time in this particular
Right.
area, right? I'm saying I want to have this particular campaign in this particular city, and I got to Esquire first. They're going to handle that situation for 3 months, 5 months, whatever
Yes.
the case is, and then that's it, right? And then maybe right outside the city, if it went to the suburbs or over the bridge or in the Bay Area, something like that, that could be somebody else's territory. But as far as, geofencing a certain area, right? Then it belongs, so to speak, for a time frame to that company, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect. So we're not stepping on toes. Now, where did this come from? I mean, we're going to say, we've been saying for forever, and rent to own, I'm going to tell you right now, I've talked to Joseph Kopser about it several times. We can see that rent to own is taken off, right? There's a whole different direction. It's a new age. It's not what was happening 10 years ago. It's not even happening what was 5 years
Big
ago.
time.
It is just taking off. So now, where did this type of situation come from where we have the power to really dial into somebody's pocket? How does that happen? Where did Esquire come across that?
Yeah. So, the company started in 2012, and it kind of started out as an email marketing company. And while we were developing our technology, and in 2016, our technology got finished. And it was really just a couple people in the business, and they went to furniture market, and they didn't have a booth, and they just put boots on the ground and talked to as many people as they possibly could. Fast forward a couple years, and this past year in 2023, we were nominated as the Home Furnishings Association Partner of the Year. So obviously we've come a long way. We've worked with Fortune 500s, and we work with mom and pops. We've worked with really everybody. But the technology just really speaks for itself. There's a lot of brick and mortar out there, and people still want to see, feel, and touch the things that they're going to bring into their home, right? That is number one. And so brick and mortar is not going to die. E-com has obviously taken up a huge market share, but brick and mortar is not going to die, right? How many people buy something online, buy a couch online, get it into their home, and it's not the right dimensions, it's not the right color? People want to see, feel, and touch what they are bringing into their homes.
Absolutely.
So in that sense, feel safe that brick and mortar is not going anywhere. But through COVID, obviously COVID changed a lot. And it changed how many stores people were going into before they purchased. Before COVID, people were going into like 6 stores before they ever made a purchase. Well, during COVID, they were going into one, and they were finding what they wanted, and they were coming home.
That's right.
Well, things are changing back the other way again. People are doing a lot more shopping. So when we're able to capture somebody that's in another store, a competitor's location, we want to make sure that we're able to capture them and entice them to come into your store.
Okay.
But the cool thing is in our dashboard. So we have a custom dashboard that every one of our customers gets. You will be able to see who you stole the most business from. So say, I have store B framed up and you're store A. Well, if I capture the device in store B and they eventually entered into an agreement with you, I can say you stole X amount of dollars from store B. And then that can help you with a lot of things.
Wow.
One, it can help you with merchandising. What does store B carry? What do you carry? Okay, we are bigger competitors than I thought. One of the things that I learned, whether it's retail or RTO, you might think this one person is your biggest competitor. Well, in reality, you're not, because you have 0 foot traffic crossover.
Wow.
0. So they're really not your competitor.
Wow.
So that is massively valuable information that you can know, and it helps you with your merchandising. It helps you with who you're targeting. We're a data-driven company. Everything we do is based on the data. We are going to look at the data. We're going to look at the foot traffic, and I'm just going to hand you this, and I'm going to say, hey, here's the puzzle piece to make a lot of money. Let's look at these puzzle pieces and put these puzzle pieces together, and we can figure it out.
It sounds like a scalpel right down the middle of how to make marketing work. Now, the whole thing, I didn't even think about it the way you said it, is finding out where your customers are going and who your real competitors are, because that's actually a very key thing. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So as you're doing this, you said it yourself, data driven. We want to know specifics because I want to target how I could make my customers count for more, how I could make my marketing dollars count for more, who I'm really working against as far as competition. How often does this data get down to a store level? Does it go to the home office and they feed it down? Does it go directly store by store? How does that work?
So every customer of ours is going to get their own custom dashboard built, and it updates on an hourly basis. So you can log into the dashboard anytime you want and monitor the foot traffic. So say one of your competitors is running a President's Day sale, because we got President's Day coming up. We'll just say that. Okay, what sale are they running? Okay, well, you can monitor their foot traffic. Did this give them a spike in foot traffic? Okay, maybe I need to look at running this promotion. Did it not cause a spike in foot traffic? Okay, that promotion obviously doesn't work. Let's look at another competitor that ran this promotion. Did this cause a spike in foot traffic? So you're able to monitor that all the time. Any time of the day that you want to do it, it updates throughout the day. So you can look at the foot traffic of your customer, of your own stores, but also your competitor locations. So again, there's so much information that it can be an information overload. But if you take a step back and look at it in the right ways, it can help you make decisions in so many different aspects of your business.
Yes, I can see how it could definitely do that. So when you, as you're doing this, man, you're saying all these things, and my mind is going just like a little bit over here and a little bit over there. But I'm going to reel it back in a little bit and say, this sounds amazing. But we do have certain rent-to-own dealers that have one location. They have two locations. They might have four locations. What size of a company is, I wouldn't say required, but what is the best fit for somebody to get Esquire? I don't want to say, hey, you're a one store revenue generation, and
right,
you're gonna do all right, because they might not have that budget. So how many stores do you think on average would make a good starting point and above to use Esquire fully?
Well, yeah. So this is probably going to make a lot of you listeners laugh, but again, I'm 7 months in. I'm super new, and I've had a lot of really big learning curves. One of my biggest learning curves was, y'all don't recoup all of the money at once. You're not retail, right? It takes you time to recoup all of those dollars on your product. And again, y'all are probably going to laugh at me, but that's one thing that I had to learn, right? So what we see is that budgets in the rent-to-own industry are lower, which is a good thing, right? You have such a targeted demographic that in any market, you have a set number of people that are your customers, right? It's not infinite. Somebody that makes $150,000 a year is not going to come into your store and rent an 80-inch TV, right? So you have a set number of people in your market. We do have a minimum budget of $2,500 a month that can be broken down into an umbrella campaign if you have multiple stores, which is not an issue. We can just send everybody into whatever store is closest to them. We can still do the matchback reports. We can still do all of that, so that's not a problem. But one thing that I will bring up, and this is going to open up an entire other can of worms, Pete, but on January 2nd, we launched a new product called Unmasked, which, right now I'm actually at a show in Orlando, and this is what I was pushing really. And I've never seen more faces light up. And it's really exciting for me. It's really exciting for our customers. But what Unmasked is, it's just a pixel that we built that we can put on your website that will de-anonymize up to 70% of your website traffic. So I know most of you have a widget, a text me widget, or somewhere where you can fill out a lead form. Well, in this industry, you're getting about 2% of your web traffic filling out a lead form, which is still great. It gives you the ability to, put those at the top. They filled out a lead form. I need to call these people first. But at the end of every day, in your dashboard, you are going to get populated up to 70% of that web traffic. You will get their first name, their last name, their home address, their phone number, and their email address. You can then plug that into your CRM. Wow. You can do outbound text marketing. You can do outbound email marketing. Your salespeople on the floor, if it's a slow day, they can pick up the phone. They can take a call. Hey, saw you were on our website yesterday. Is there anything I can help you with? Love to have you in the store. Coming today. Here's 10% off. Something like
So
that. There are so many different things that you can
do. This pixel is going to start generating web leads as you put it on and capture way more than the 2% that we're doing now. And Esquire is saying that I can get a 10-to-1 on a $2,500 investment per location, which would then feed itself to be a better investment if I just kept feeding the beast, right? I don't know how there's a downside to this. I'm waiting for you to tell me something's for the other shoe to drop. How did this all come about? I mean, you guys got some big boys on the block already on here, which tells me that I believe we've got really some foot to ground on this, and we can say, hey, there's some foot traffic on this. Some things have been happening, and here we are. How much of the market do you have as far as rent to own goes? I mean, how much penetration do you have already? It sounds like you're just now getting into it to make all that happen.
Yeah, I'm in about 25 brick and mortar locations. I have 3 really kind of influential customers within the space. This year it is going to be my main focus. RTO is by far kind of taken over my passion. Over the last 7 months, I've really enjoyed digging into the data and learning as much as I can and talking to people and just having conversations like these. And I know I still have a ton to learn, right? I have a ton to learn, but I'm excited to do it. I'm excited. One of the cool things I'll say, I was at RTO World, and I go to a ton of trade shows. I go to a ton of conferences. What really impressed me was in rent to own, how much people shared and how much people talked to each other about what's working. I went to as many educational sessions as I could. I go to educational sessions in other industries, and it's crickets, right? Every single room I went into was chock full, which I thought was awesome. Everybody's so eager to learn. But at the end of the day, we all have the same mission, right? We all have the same mission. It's to grow our businesses. It's to get more people the help that they need to have the things that they want. And for me, it's to help companies like all of you grow, open up another location if that's what your goal is, grow in your advertising if that's what your goal is, or whatever that goal is. Esquire, our entire goal, what we do every day is build technology so that you don't have to help you grow.
I'm going to tell you, it's at 25 locations. Yeah, you're gonna be a little busy when we get down to the meeting of the minds. If you can really do what's going on, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna be extremely busy because there's a lot of things out there, a lot of places, a lot of cities, a lot of regions, a lot of states that don't have some competition that they might want to try it out. And so, let's say I have this company because you say you got some big boys, which means that they're not in every single store. They're in some of their stores. They're giving you a try. So let's say I have 20 stores, but I want to try it in a specific city because I have maybe 10 cities that I'm in, but I only want to try it in a specific city. You can do that as well and take care of a certain part of it and say, yes, you can try me out for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever the case is. Check on your ROI. And then when you get what I'm telling you you're going to get, we can encompass the entire company. And it's okay to do that. You don't have to take all or none.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. As long as your locations are within about a 30 to 40 mile radius, we can throw those in an umbrella. We'll help you save money 100% because you can just put the whole marketing budget and send, I'm just not going to be sending somebody to one specific store that, hey, this store might be struggling. I want to send more traffic here. We're just going to send everybody. You could have 10 stores in an umbrella if you wanted to, if they were within a close enough radius. That's 100% fine. But one thing that I heard you say, which I think is really cool, because I've talked to a lot of other marketing agencies, and pretty much everybody does a 6 to 12 month contract. The only thing that we will lock you into is 90 days. Wow. We just ask for 90 days. After 90 days, our average gets you to the 10-to-1. If we don't get you to that 10-to-1, you're free to go. That's 100% fine. But if we do and you're happy, perfect. We're month to month for the rest of all of our lifetimes after that. So We can just take it month by month. But every month, we're going to be looking at your sales data, and we're going to be changing up those audiences, and we're going to be optimizing, right? So say, a new movers audience for some reason in this area is doing really well. Okay, in a custom demographic isn't, all right, well, I can move some of the budget from custom demographic and put it over into the new movers for the next month, since obviously that's really heavy hitting. So we can move things around all the time. But one thing that I really want to stress, no matter what the size of your business is, that pixel is really going to be a game changer. I mean, we're talking about upping your lead generation from 2% to up to 70%. That's a possible 68% increase in leads. I mean, that if you handle those leads the correct way and you use them and you outreach to those people and you convert. I mean, we can also measure the conversion rate on those leads because we have all of that information. So we can tell you how much you were able to build just off of those. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities, but if nothing else, if you're scared to go with advertising, you're scared to do all that, get the pixel because it's gonna change this industry 100%.
So if I was interested in the pixel, right, because you have your regular situation and then you have the pixel, is that some way for me to give it a try on what you're doing? Is that a way for my company or any company to save a little bit of revenue and try you out first? What is the pricing differences? Is it 25% of what it would normally cost for a month, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's 12 cents a resolution. So it's priced out in tiers essentially. So if you get under 2,500 resolutions or website visitors per month, it's $2.99 a month. So on $2.99 a month of 2,500 website visitors, how many of those can you turn into customers, right?
Oh, wow.
You get one or two, there you go. If you have 5,000 resolutions per month, it's $5.99. And if you have 10,000 or more, it goes into enterprise pricing, and I think it's like $12.99 a month. But still, at 10,000 resolutions of 10,000 people that were on your website, yeah, I know you all have faith in your sales teams. I know that they can turn, say maybe even 10% of those turn into customers. That's that's revenue huge. is new, and it
that's huge. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm following you down the yellow brick road. Okay, I'm following you down, but I'm waiting to hit the castle. Right? I'm waiting for the big guy to start talking to me. Because here's the thing. I want to say that if you're really offering the pixel, you're really offering a 10-to-1 ROI at minimum, then I guess the biggest problem that you will have is that whoever wants it in a specific area just kind of needs to get to you first. Is that, I mean, basically the only thing that I can say? There might be some type of, you got to get in first on this. Guys, I want you guys to know, if you heard it on the RTO show, you need to get over to Adam. Number one, you need to let him know that you heard it here. And number two, you need to get your places locked in now, because if there's somebody else who can find out where your guys are shopping, what it is they're going, and how it is they're being affected by what you have, and you're getting door swings, and you're getting 70% more of the information going on your traffic on I can't even, you're saying numbers that are just like, holy cow, like they could change an entire store. And to be honest with you, that can change an entire company when you're talking about numbers like that. If we have an educated and trained sales staff to get it done, holy cow. I mean, you're talking about changing a whole situation for a company that actually moves in on this situation first. So just to kind of back it up a little bit, the reason that we started the show, the reason that we started the podcast, the reason why we do what we do is exactly what you said. This industry is one industry that is not afraid to talk to each other, is not afraid to lend out a helping hand, is not afraid to tell you, hey, man, I think this might work a little bit better for you, and this is what's going on. You know what? I found this advertiser. I found this product. I found out that talking to a customer this particular way, or your service is a little slow. Maybe you want to increase that service to speed. Maybe you want to try this vendor who's fixing it in under a week instead of having to send it out. It takes 30 days or whatever. That's what Meeting of the Minds is about. That's what the RTO World Conventions are about, to really everybody can share that knowledge and that data and kind of talk to each other. But I'm telling you now, you're kind of cheating. You're kind of come out on the RTO show podcast first before you get to Meeting of the Minds. This is something that's really going to change a lot for everybody. Guys, if you're listening to the show, I'm going to tell you right now, this is something that you want to jump on. If you guys want to reach out and talk to Adam, how do they reach out to you? How do they get a hold of Esquire and you to find out how they can make that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So my email address is just adam@esquireadvertising.com. It is super simple. It's probably a terrible trait of mine, but all I do is work. So if I'm laying in bed, I see an email come through, I'll probably answer you on my phone, and it won't have my little signature at the bottom. But yeah, and my phone number is just 804-551-4910. I will be sending email blasts out through Trib. I'm super pumped to be in Trib, so I'm going to take as much advantage of all of the options that they give us vendors. So I'll be sending out, different email blasts about different opportunities and things. Again, I'm just super stoked to be here. Again, that's one of the coolest things about this industry. And Pete, I move fast. I sent you a message on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, I want to be on the show. I love this industry. I have this. Let's talk about it. And originally, I didn't even want to, necessarily give a pitch. I just wanted to come on and talk RTO with you because I know you can run circles around me in terms of RTO, but that's how I'm going to learn, right? I want to learn. I want to dive in head first and jump into all of this with you guys. And again, if there's anything else for y'all to take away from this conversation, it's that there are companies like us out there that are working day and night, hand over fist to help you grow and help you make more money. That is our job. Your job is to run your business. Our job is to give you the opportunity day in and day out to make more. So, that's what we do. That's what we focus on. And I love it. And I love doing it. And I love chatting with all of you guys. I've gotten to know quite a few people. So, it's been super fun.
Well, I tell you what, you come into the right space. RTO industry is very encompassing. It'll pull you in. And I'm going to tell you what, it pulled me in almost 20 years ago, and I haven't been able to leave. So the only thing I could do is kind of dig in and try to give everybody as much knowledge as I've got, and kind of share it with everybody. Yep. And I'm going to tell you, Adam, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I really appreciate the passion that you're showing for this industry. And I really, really hope that you guys work your butt off to get over to Adam first, because he's got something with a 10 to 1. That's numbers that you can't overlook. The pixel, something that you want to get on. And I'll tell you guys right now, if you guys can see him right now, I'm telling you, that's the face that you want to see in Albuquerque, the Meeting of the Minds, or anywhere else. APRO's a big sponsor. We love Trib. I love Dennis Shields. I love Mike Tisset. Those guys are like on my list of their pedestals up here, man. I love those guys. I'm going to tell you right now, sharing the knowledge, that's what we're going to do for you. I just hope that you're ready, because when it comes, you're going to have a lot of people stepping up to the plate. We had something that happened not that long ago with automated collections, and let me tell you, it really kicked off the ground with just running. So I'm really sure that with what you have, you've got a home run. I just want to tell you right now, I really appreciate you coming on the show. And again, if you guys want to reach out to Adam, I will put his information on the website. But if you have any questions for him and you can't remember what his address is, you could go to pete@thertoshow.com and you can email me. I will send Adam any question that you have, or we can do a follow-up. If not, hit us up on the website. It's www.thertoshowpodcast.com. And listen, guys, we're going to put this up on video and on the podcast, so you cannot miss any of it. So if you're in the car or if you're watching YouTube, you're going to see it anywhere that you're at. This is the way to go. This is what you guys want to do, and this is what you guys want to see. And as always, I'm going to tell you guys, keep your collections low to get your sales high. Thank you. Appreciate it, Adam.